Hi guys, welcome back. Back outside in the sun. I feel like my sun videos do better than my inside videos. And that's maybe just because I'm a little happier in the sun. You know, a lot of things in the modern world that they tell you not to do, they're usually the good things. Sun's one of them. Makes everything grow. It brings the grape to the vine. Or without it, it couldn't rise. Nothing could rise. Nothing could live. A little bit of a rant about the sun. Today, I'm going to talk about how constant noise is killing our sanity. I feel like the constant need to have music playing, to have a podcast going, to be listening to something, to the point where you struggle to sleep, is actually causing mental illness. It's drowning out the sounds of the rhythms of our life, so we're not actually paying attention to what is around us and is what's actually happening around us. It takes us out of reality and puts us into wherever the stimulation is sort of directing us. We've become like a automaton or a slave to our impressions, and just operating on a very surface level of life, jumping from one idea to the next, always up in a philosophical, conceptual land. And meanwhile, in reality, you might have things in your life that are going in a downward slope that you could be preventing, that you could be doing something for. You're not taking care of your garden. By the way, I'm talking about myself. If you relate, you relate. But this is a video to me, mostly. Jesus said something like, stop worrying about the twig in someone else's eye and first address the log that's in your own. Man, that is some slam dunk wisdom right there. Like, look no further than the Bible for the actual real substance of wisdom. Yeah. I notice with myself, the more angry I get about what's happening in the world or someone else's life, and the more judgmental I get, usually the worse things are in my life. Like things aren't going so well. Maybe I'm not feeling too good. Maybe I'm a little bit sort of poisoned and my liver's getting angry. And I look around and, there's probably been a mess in my house, my yard, or my car. And cleanliness is godliness. And if messiness comes from anger and distraction, then that's obviously not godliness. So we can bring ourselves. The thing about mess is it's a pretty good indicator of where you're at. Your external surrounds are a pretty good way of gauging what is going on for you in your life. So coming back to the whole sound thing and just constantly bombarding ourselves with stimulation, visual stimulation, like short reels, 10 seconds of content, just bam, 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 bam. It's like drinking red cordial out of the bottle. There's no substance in it. There's no fiber in that kind of diet. You're just going to get sugar brain and all fucking skittled out. We're all skittled out on fucking media and content and music that we're we're just not. Oh, that's just really no way to live. Yeah. So yeah, when you I just noticed this the other day because I've been having some injuries and stuff lately, and you just got out of a cult, and going through some life changes, which are good, and I'm calling more on Christ every day and actually asking him to be with me and just trying to invite Christ into my life while I'm replacing other things that are no longer serving me, or I'm no longer serving. That's probably a better way to put it. And it's given me some time to be able to sit back and reflect on things. I've actually genuinely prayed for the ability to just sit back and reflect on things rather than like be such an addict and slave to content and media. And I've prayed for that, and it's God's delivering. So I've had a bit of time to sit back and just listen to the world around me, not through a screen. Like I'm not no monk or whatever. I'm not like I haven't totally renounced it. I'm not white knuckling this. I'm actually just enjoying a bit of downtime, a bit of quiet time, especially in the sun. It's quite nice, and I'm getting all kinds of just honest wisdom with myself and clarity that I wouldn't get from anyone on the internet or listening to anything else. I genuinely wouldn't have any of that clarity if I was listening to something else. That's not to say I'm never listening to something else, but by creating, actually having the space and time to just sit and hang out with no stimulation, man, it's amazing. It's amazing what I'm realizing. You know, this is like how you actually get guidance from God. You know, you might pray for it, and then like totally ignore it, not create the chance for it to show up in your life. Like if you're asking for a raise at work, but you don't have a job, like what? You're asking for something you're not even like opening the door of possibility to. So, yeah, you need to just, well, who am I to say you need to? I'm enjoying taking some time to really just listen to, you know, my thoughts and whatever sounds arise in the environment. And I'm relaxing a fair bit. I've also like drastically cut back on the amount of caffeine I was having. I think that's got something to do with it too. I think when we're constantly stimming ourselves, we're masking true fatigue, and we're not coming from a place of creation, and we're just running on this train of anxiety and cortisol. But that doesn't like really produce much. Like you can kind of get through some periods of your life like that, but if you're running like that all the time, you're just going to start beating your brakes off. And that's what was happening to me. You know, so I had like the best part of a week without any coffee and just having like some black tea now. And man, it's like I'm sleeping better at night. My dreams are back. And I'm just not so anxious and tired at the same time. Man, it's good. So, yeah, it's not about doing more. There is a time to do new things and to apply yourself, but there's also a time to just let it all go for a bit and reset. And actually just really relax. Not lay in bed listening to shit, listening to a podcast or whatever. But actually just sit with yourself. Go for a long walk. That's a good one too. It's one I did the other day. Like go for a long walk with like maybe a bit of a mission or whatever, like you're going to go see something or you're going to go to a walk somewhere instead of drive it. But the amount of clarity that comes from a walk, that's an act of meditation. That can put you in connection with some of the things you need to hear, but also just sitting there too. It's amazing what it does for you. Why am I saying this? Like I've been one of those people that's tried like everything, like all kinds of herbs and supplements and training routines and drugs even, to get all of these different stimulations and see what they do to the body. And I've tried a lot of stuff, like, you know, a lot of biohacking and whatever. And I'm saying that this really works more than just about all of that. Like, sure, do a bit of Tonkat Ali or whatever, but do a bit of Sistanch, feel good from some herbs. That's great. But if you're like decorating a sunken ship, is that a good analogy? Yeah, maybe. It's like decorating a sunken ship. No, that kind of sucks as an analogy. I'm trying not to use Elliot Hulse's one, which was like decorating the inside of a house, but maybe I should just use that and credit him like I just did. It's like trying to decorate an ugly, haunted house that's like got termites in it, and you're like painting the wall, and like meanwhile, like you could probably press your finger through the wall, and things got like holes in it and like nails sticking out. Like some people have died just from how dodgy the house is, and like you're trying to find some new curtains for it. That's what a lot of self-help stuff is like. And yeah, crediting Elliot Hulse, that really got me, that pushed me in the right direction. That guidance was good. Thank you. But yeah, man, stop feeding yourself all of this stuff. Like, that's why we all have ADHD. Like, ADHD is real, but it's not this like abstract, uncurable condition that that a lot of people identify with. It's just part of our nature that gets a little bit out of balance and sick even when we overindulge in stimulation. And if you're never taking the time to really relax, and you're constantly running on this nervous anxiety and this nervous energy, then that's what a lot of those things are going to be born from. And that if your current life is a haunted house, then just sit back and let some of it fall down. Let some of it fall down and have it rebuilt with God. But that's the other thing. Like, you really have to be ready and willing to do the work when God does give you the guidance. And it's like an active process to be rebuilding that. You actually do it with the Lord, but you can't do it on your own. There's another Bible verse where Jesus is talking about how when you get rid of Pippi, enough. Hey, Shadow. Jesus is, Pippi, enough out of you. Jesus is talking about a Bible verse where when you get rid of an unclean spirit from your house, it will go off wandering in the desert for a little bit, and then it's going to come back to the house. And if there's no one in the house, as in like no God in the house, not only is it going to move in, but it's going to invite 7 of its buddies who are even worse into that house. That's literally like a pretty accurate paraphrase of what Jesus said in the Bible. And, that means is when you're letting that house be dissolved and that old life be dissolved, you need to be inviting in God into your life actively to be rebuilding it. And I'm doing that right now. And it's making a difference, and I'm leaning into that. Every morning you put on the armor of God, but you'll also ask and maybe pray that God fills your heart with love and is with you in your mind and with you in your body. And whatever sincerely comes to you, like that's for you to figure out what kind of relationship you want to have, and but be sincere about it, and connect with God before you connect with anything else, at least, man. And if you feel overindulgent, pray for some relief from your devices. What does a vice mean? A vice means to trap something, to hold it, to grip something. Our vices. Yeah. Well, Do I keep going or do I leave it there? One other Bible verse that's been really interesting that stuck out for me lately is Jesus says, "How can you rob the house of a strong man lest you blind him first?" If you blind him, you can come and rob him and he won't be able to see and stop you. We've been blinded en masse. And that's the mess we've got ourselves in, and it's a prophetic mess. These are the times that have been prophesized. And everyone's, there's more than one prophecy, by the way. It's not, don't take it all for, don't relax too much in that sense of things. All right? Like, there are some things to be taken with reverence and importance, and these times are now. So, how are you going to be able to see? First of all, if you've got a log in your eye, so that's the first thing, address the log in your eye before you go telling people about their twigs. Change the world from where you are, not in abstract outside ways that give your power away. And then you will be see. Then you will see. You won't be blind anymore. And you've been blinded because you're being ran through. Your house is being ran through, and you're being robbed. And for thousands of years we've been robbed and blinded from our true kingdom. That's why the Bible's always either been in some other language or had mediators between the Bible and the people that try to interpret it, and those mediators are what's led by the dark forces, the occult bloodlines. Of their grips on most of modern Christian organizations, as well as a lot of the other ones. It's not just one family. There's a whole bunch of those families, but they rely on us being blind to be able to rob us, because a man who sees is a man who can't be robbed of what truly matters. And how are you going to see if you're casting judgment all else in the world and you're constantly listening to stuff? Bam, 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 bam. Just sipping that red cordial. And you're blinded. You're blinded by that way of life. So sit back, have a look around you, breathe in some air, and invite God into your life. And I pray that we all can see. That we all can see what's true before it's too late. Stay vital. Amen.